Okay, let's talk about GitHub. What if you could manage your entire workflow, I mean everything, without ever leaving your code editor? No more clicking around, no more guessing at command lines. Today, we're going to dive into how you can literally talk to GitHub and how it can talk right back. I mean, really think about that for a second. What if you could just ask for a status update, or assign a task, or even look up a code example, just by talking? It's a huge shift, right? It's about turning GitHub from a tool you have to operate into a teammate you can actually collaborate with. But hey, before we get to the cool solution, let's talk about a problem that every single developer knows all too well. We're calling it the GitHub juggle. You know exactly what I'm talking about, that constant, frustrating dance between your code and your browser that just shatters your focus. Yeah, this slide probably hits a little too close to home, right? We've all been there. You're totally in the zone, just cranking out code, and then boom, you have to stop. You've got to find an issue, or you're trying to remember that one Git command you always forget, or you're lost in a sea of browser tabs. Every single one of those little switches just shatters that precious flow state. So, how do we fix this? How do we stop the constant context switching? Well, the answer is actually a really clever piece of tech that acts like a universal translator for our tools. It's a protocol called MCP, and it's the magic ingredient that's going to connect us to a much, much smarter way of working. So what is this MCP thing? It stands for Model Context Protocol. But honestly, you can just think of it as a universal translator. It's that simple. Imagine your AI assistant speaks one language, and GitHub speaks another. MCP is the little guy in the middle, making sure they can have a perfect conversation with nothing getting lost in translation. And this slide right here, this shows you everything. On the left, you've got the old way, a total mess of custom connections, a different one for every single tool. It's a nightmare. But on the right, with MCP, it's just clean. It's simple. It's standardized. It's like having one plug that just works for everything. Okay, so a universal translator is a great idea. But how does that actually help us with the daily GitHub grind? Well, this is where the magic becomes real. We're talking about the GitHub MCP Server. This is the tool that puts that translator to work for you. So think of this server as your personal GitHub expert. You just tell your AI assistant what you need in plain English. Hey, find me this file, or create an issue for that bug. And the server handles all the complicated stuff behind the scenes to make it happen. You get the results without any of the technical headache. It's amazing. And you know, this changes the game for literally everyone on the team. Developers can stay laser-focused on their code. A team lead can manage an entire project with a few simple sentences. DevOps can automate really complex tasks super easily. And for open source maintainers, they can manage their communities way, way faster. It's a huge productivity boost no matter what your role is. All right, enough theory. Let's talk about the practical superpowers this thing gives you. What kind of stuff can you actually do when your AI speaks fluent GitHub? Let's check out some real-world examples. Okay, first up, imagine having a research assistant just for code. Instead of spending, 20 minutes digging through different repos, you can just ask a question like this. Your AI assistant will scan GitHub and bring back the best code examples instantly. Think of the time you save. Next, project management. This one's huge. You just got out of a meeting, right? You've got a long list of action items. Normally, you'd have to sit there and manually create every single ticket. Ugh. But now, you just say this, and bam, in seconds, your meeting notes are turned into real assigned GitHub issues. What used to be a 30-minute chore is now like a 5-second task. It's wild. Or what about doing a little bit of code archaeology? When you need to figure out why a piece of code was changed, you don't have to manually dig through endless commit logs anymore. You just ask a question like this, and you get a clear history right away. It's basically a time machine for your code. And for anyone who maintains an open source project, this is an absolute game changer. Growing a community is hard work, but with a simple query, you can instantly find easy tasks for new people and spot who your most engaged contributors are. It makes welcoming newcomers so much easier. So, as you can see, these features are unbelievably powerful. But the real story here, the bigger picture, is so much more than just one cool tool. This is pointing to a massive change in how we interact with all of our technology. And this really is the most important takeaway. For decades, we've had to learn the complicated language of our machines. But now, for the first time, our machines are finally learning to understand us. We're moving away from clicking buttons and typing cryptic commands, and we're moving toward a future where we can just have a conversation with our tools. So, what does this all mean for you day to day? Well, it means less time jumping between windows and more time in that deep focus state. It means your workflow is going to be faster and way more fluid. It means tasks that used to be a huge pain are now as simple as asking a question. And maybe best of all, you don't have to be a GitHub guru anymore to get powerful results. And that leaves us with one last pretty exciting question to think about. When all that friction, all that juggling, and all that time you used to spend just fighting with your tools, when that all just disappears, what incredible things are you going to build instead?